Welcome back.
Welcome back to Unfltrd Bonds, the podcast.
Yes.
We've told everyone our business at this point.
We have.
And now we about to tell them more of our business.
Right.
This was your idea. I just want them to know that.
That's fine.
Was it mine or yours?
Maybe it was the podcast. It's very unfiltered.
So yeah, if you haven't, and if you don't know what we're talking about, Ashton shares her decorated past.
And your colorful one.
Ooh, no pun intended. Oh my God. Let's move along. We want to talk about our story, and we want to talk about how we actually met.
Yes.
Because I don't think people know this.
Not a lot of people do.
We met at the local church, but
Correct.
There was a story before that, and I want you to tell us.
In April of 2018, we both went to a church event.
Yes.
And I felt you staring at me, but you never came over and said anything.
Yep, I definitely stared at you.
So I was just like, well, it is what it is. I ended up following you on Instagram.
You sure did.
After I followed Pastor, you came up as people you may know. And I was like, this is this dude that was staring at me. What's he about? So I definitely picked apart your profile. Anyways, fast forward. We didn't see each other again, but July of 2018, I sat behind you at church. And right after church ended, you were like, hey.
No. You missed out a lot of things.
What?
Well, you didn't. But
okay.
What I will say is, yes, you sat behind me at church one day on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to assume that you asked to sit there because it was just the perfect timing. Like, why was you sitting there? Did you really tell the greeter to sit you there? You can be honest. This is your time to be unfiltered.
I was with a guy.
All right. She was there with a guy and her best friend. So there's that. I didn't see him, by the way. I didn't. I was locked in. So I saw her and I was like, yo, it's her. Now, keep in mind, contextually speaking, I was going through a lot mentally and emotionally. I had been praying about the Lord sending me my helpmate. And I was literally praying that I would be alert and attentive. That was my request to God, that he would commission my wife to me and I would be present. And she sits behind me at church on a Sunday. And I said to myself, this is great. This is the Lord's answered prayer for me. So I turn around and I say to her, I said, hey, I'm Jordan. What's your name? And she was like, I'm Ashton. I said, yeah, I think you're my Instagram crush. And she was like, oh, am I? And she was so happy when she said it. I said, oh yeah, I got this in the bag. I have nothing to worry about here. The bag is secured. And so I said, yeah, I think you are. And she just smiled so happy because she was just, I think, stunned. Mind you, she's there with a guy. And I was just kind of like, okay, cool. Let me get your number. So I got her number. We ended up exchanging, talking. We got on the phone that afternoon. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of want to do a temp check. Like, what's up? What's going on with Shorty? We ended up finally having like a talk on that Tuesday, I think it was. Mm-hmm. We talked for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And it was the most fruitful conversation. And one of the things that Ashton said that I thought was dynamic was the fact that she wanted to date someone through all 4 seasons before she could actually commit to a relationship. And I said to myself, what? What does that mean? So tell us, what does that mean?
Yeah. So the breakup prior to meeting you, I really felt like I didn't know who he was, even though we were together for so long. And so one of my spiritual mentors in the faith, she said because I had told her, like, I want to do this God's way because what I'm doing is not working. And I know that the Lord is calling me to be a wife. And so she was like, if that's the case, I would encourage you to see someone through all 4 seasons, like figuratively and literally, like see them through a promotion at their job, see them through loss of a loved one, see them through a holiday season with family, because in those 4 seasons, you'll see how they respond to different circumstances, and that will tell you a lot about a person.
Absolutely. And we literally went on our first date as a result. I called a friend up. I said, yo, I think I got my future ex-wife and I'm bringing her to the restaurant and I need an experience at the steakhouse. And he was like, okay, I got you, man. I'm gonna set it up. And I said, okay, cool. Let me have the chef send a note to the table that says cheers to 4 seasons.
My.
So we get to the restaurant. There's flowers that
greet right her. There's a penny dropper.
Is that Trey Songz? I'm dead. Shout out to him.
Pennies were not dropped.
Oh, well, you might need to clarify because we didn't have sex.
Not at all.
But it definitely set the mood for our relationship. You were very excited that I had heard you.
Yeah, it showed that you were actively listening.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was the first glimpse I had got into the thread of our love. Like the Lord loves me so much. He loves even the tiny details that matter to my heart. And so you acting on that was a manifestation of the Lord's love.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that's how you felt until now.
Yeah.
That's good. I hope I can live up to that.
You do
all
every
my
day.
Days. Oh,
Amen.
We're on the same page.
We are.
I was going to say, to that point, we had this fruitful discussion.
Yeah. I feel like that was the moment. I always say that was a moment that I saw you naked.
Yes.
Spiritually.
That's it.
Spiritually. Not physically. But you just bared your soul.
Yeah.
That's when you detailed your colorful past.
I'm screaming.
You told me,
You're so funny.
I know, right? But you told me, like, hey, I used to live a homosexual lifestyle. You declared or shared the sin that you had wrestled with otherwise, and just how the Lord literally had saved you from yourself.
Yeah.
And that was just such a beautiful moment in time to just witness your heart being completely uncovered.
No, that's true, because usually when I tell a girl that, at the time when I was dating, I would tell girls that I'm bisexual and I've dated men and how does it make them feel. I've never seen someone just look me in my eyes with a smile. They're usually like, okay, got it. And you were just like, yes, I'm here for you. It was just like, what is happening? I need you to come out of whatever you were in.
Yeah. It was so beautiful because it was like you were withholding nothing. It was like, you're going to take me with all of the things the Lord has brought me through, or you're not.
Yeah.
And I love that.
It was interesting is you dated someone who had homosexual desires and you were primed almost. Your heart was softened to be prepared for a conversation as such.
Correct. It was like that. I found out the hard way that was the case with him, but the Lord had definitely made it clear to me that he was going to redeem that pain. And so I had so much compassion in my heart for him, because I was like, I can't imagine, living this lifestyle secretly. Yeah. And your partner finds out, and like, what do you do with that? And she leaves you. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I think it was just so interesting how orchestrated our relationship had become. So then following that period, we were dating during that first 90 days. Really, we were building a friendship. I want to say the first 90 days of our relationship was completely friendship. We were just getting to know each other, and we were trying to figure out, is this what the Lord wants for us? Right. I knew in my heart that you were my wife, but did I really know that? It was more of a temp check. And so we was going through this friendship phase, if you will. And during that time, I had reached out to your mom because I recognized you two were best friends. And the Holy Spirit revealed to me that I had to be delicate in that, because I didn't want your mother to be offended or disrespected or feel like I'm taking someone from her. But if anything, she now has a son that's coming into her life. And so it's very intentional for me to do that, because I didn't want to disrupt what was happening. I just wanted to add value to what was happening.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Yet another moment that, again, the Lord was like, I care about the details.
That's good.
And because Jordan is one with the Holy Spirit, I'm going to allow him to care about those same details too.
Yeah.
So because my mom and I were so incredibly tight, like, it was important that, not that she became a part of our relationship, but that you recognized that there was a need to honor her in that, especially being a single mom.
Yeah. And just to prepare her heart, because I knew that if we were to go forward with this relationship, following a courtship, we would get married.
Right.
And so I needed her to be prepared for, hey, there's going to come a day where I ask your daughter hand in marriage, and I want your support, but I only want it if you give it to me.
Right. And so following you asked for my hand in courtship.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. I just love how you asked to be official and dating relationally.
Yeah, because you kept joking. Everyone was finding out that we were dating, and you were like, "Oh no, he has me on a 90-day plan."
Yeah. So if you went to our church, we weren't publicly like dating. If you knew, you knew.
Right.
But we weren't like outwardly
Because we was
dating. Because we wanted to get to know each other. But I had joked you had me on this 90-day probation.
Yeah. And so 90 days had rolled around, and it was October 20th,
Yeah.
2018.
Yes.
And I had basically put a SWOT analysis together. And the SWOT analysis, if you don't know, is strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And I had never knew that Ashton was into it, but I knew as my business mind, I was into it. So I had literally said, okay, hey, I want to detail some strengths. I want to detail some weaknesses and some threats. And then the opportunity was, would you take my hand in a courtship? And would you allow me the opportunity to be your man as we get to know each other? And it was beautiful because it worked. You
It
cried.
was. I did cry because I had gone to business school, and in a past relationship, as a part of like checking in and making sure we were progressing, I wanted to implement a SWOT analysis as like a annual review.
I'm screaming.
And he was like, "We're not a business.
We're not.
Like, you can't do that."
And you just
And I
felt
was just
seen.
like, I mean, I think it's an effective tool. So when you did the SWOT analysis, I was like,
It just hit your heart again.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it was unorchestrated. It just happened.
Yeah, you didn't know that. I had
didn't
never
know
shared that with you,
Yeah.
but that became a part of our love language. And every 90 days, as
We
a part
did
of
a
our
SWOT.
courtship, we started doing a SWOT analysis.
Yeah, no, and we had tied it to the 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And so it was fall this time. And so we courted each other for 1 year.
Yep.
And then that fall of next year, we got married.
We did.
And it was beautiful. I think one thing that I want to acknowledge too, though, is that during that courtship, I realized what I was really signing up for. So do you want me to tell him or do you want to tell him?
You're so sassy. Go
I know,
ahead.
right? Okay, so here's the thing. If you know my wife, in that season, I can't say she's the same girl she was, but in that particular season, Ashton was this perfect woman of God. And everyone that came in contact with me as it relates to her, they confirmed and validated what I was second guessing, which is she really perfect? She was. I mean, it was crazy. And it went on for like 3 months. It wasn't until we went to St. Louis, I was like, all right, we're going home to her family. I'm going to really see the true side of Ashton and who she really is. Man, please. Those people loved her dirty draws. She was like the light of the family. She was like Jesus. She was the Messiah. And I called Pastor, hit up 83. I said, yo, I got a situation. I just knew I was going to come to St. Louis and I was going to see Ashton for who she really was. And she's still the same. She's perfect. I said, I need some guidance here. His response was, okay, Jordan, here's the thing. Stop judging Ashton by her character and judge her by her heart. And I said, ooh, what do you mean? He
That's
said,
so good.
and this goes back to what we talked about in the other episode. He said,
Yeah.
we don't have a perfect problem. We have a heart problem. And I said, that's it. And so from that day forward, oh my God, I just saw how imperfect my wife was.
Sinner. Just
Sinner.
out here sinning.
So that became like the path for our relationship.
Yeah, and I think what we didn't know what was planting a seed was that it ultimately kept us anchored to not idolizing each other.
Yeah.
Because in that perfection, there became some like idolization. And I had struggled with that just from daddy issues and idolizing men. And because you just honored my heart so well, I was like, this dude is off the chain.
Yeah.
I can say one thing and he acts on it immediately and with intention and purpose. So similar, I mean, you shared that to me. Like, hey, I really want us to focus on seeing each other's hearts. That became such a great blueprint. And then I saw yours. My.
What did you discover?
Not too long after that, I can't even remember what it was that you just weren't bending on that I was doing.
I had so much pride.
Yeah, your pride was showing. You were just like, if you don't change this, I don't know about our future. And I was like, bet. And I told you, I was like, okay, that's fine. It was something I wasn't willing to bend on. And I was like, look, I know the Lord has called me to be a wife. And if it's not to you, that's completely okay. I will be okay.
I was taken aback.
You were.
Because I was putting my foot down.
You were.
I was owning my manhood. And
For
you
sure.
was just like, excuse me.
Anyways. So what are we going to eat tonight, boo?
Yeah, no, that was a big defining moment. And I laughed. I think it was the first time that you put me in my place without putting me in my place.
Yeah.
And I was just so grateful because I'm like, okay, she can hang. She can do this.
For sure.
And that became, again, another moment in our path.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I want to say, fast forward, we get married. I proposed to you.
Yeah, you
We
did.
have an engagement party.
We did.
Surprise.
Huge surprise.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, you proposed, you had a private brunch for us, and then I thought we were going for drinks to celebrate alone. What I didn't know was that all of our friends and family were there to greet us.
Yeah.
To celebrate our engagement.
We had an engagement proposal the morning of, and I was very intentional about just having us.
Yeah.
I felt like what we were creating was so uniquely to us. And then after that, we just journeyed into marriage. Mm-hmm. And I think we started to prepare ourselves for marriage, and we did. What was it called?
The dating tour. We're leaving so much out, but
yeah,
the dating tour is important because we, having both been products of broken homes meaning our parents didn't stay together.
Right.
We knew that stopped with us. We had made this commitment and dedication to nurturing a healthy marriage. And so we met with couples who we admired their marriage and particular topics that they were really fruitful in. So like there was one couple who financially just were great stewards and were doing amazing. Another couple who just were a power couple who had a family but balanced it all. Right. And so many topics. So we toured with like 6 couples and sat down and asked them
all the stuff,
raw, real, and hopefully relatable questions.
This is very true. We've been unfiltered.
Yeah. Hey, if y'all are great with finances, how did you get there?
Yeah, that became literally the blueprint for us. And we literally designed a healthy marriage through our courtship. If it wasn't for the courtship and just getting clear about who we are and what this means for the kingdom, then I don't think we would be in this moment.
I agree.
And then what happens next? We get married.
Yeah. We did a lot of work prior to that, but yeah, we said I do.
We said I do. And the rest is history.
It is.
5 years later, we done built a house. We have 2 beautiful boys. We have each other.
We do.
And now we have a podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to
Unfiltrd Bonds.
The rest of the season is going to be all the way up.
All the way up.
Stay tuned for all of our guests. And we thank you